All right, let's talk about something huge, discipline. Today, we're diving deep into the science of why sticking to your goals feels so incredibly hard sometimes. And we're going to bust a huge myth about willpower that might just be the one thing holding you back.
Seriously, let's be real for a second. Have you ever felt like this? You make a great plan, you know exactly what you need to do, but when the moment comes, it's like your discipline just evaporates. If you've felt that, you are definitely not alone. And it turns out there's a really good scientific reason for it.
And that brings us to what you could call the discipline paradox. We all have these fantastic long-term goals, right? Like we want to get in shape, finish that big project, or finally learn that new skill. But somehow, we get constantly sidetracked by what we want in the moment.
Well, this internal tug-of-war actually has a name: dynamic inconsistency. It's that classic battle where the version of you that plans to eat a salad all week gets completely ambushed by the version of you that sees pizza right now. Your preferences are literally changing over time.
But here is the good news, the way out of this paradox. We have to completely redefine how we think about discipline. It is not some magical trait that some people are born with and others aren't. No, the science is really clear on this. Discipline is a skill, and like any skill, you can learn it and get better at it.
So if we're going to build that skill, we have to get specific. Self-discipline isn't about gritting your teeth and just forcing yourself through things. It's actually about creating and committing to your own personal system, a set of rules and routines that automatically guide you toward your big goals.
And self-control, that's the in-the-moment part of the system. Think of it this way. If self-discipline is the overall strategy for winning the war, then self-control is winning those small, crucial battles, like saying no to checking your phone for the 10th time when you're trying to focus.
Researcher Angela Duckworth puts it perfectly here. That fancy term, prepotent response, is just your first automatic impulse. You know, the easy thing to do. So discipline is really just the skill of hitting pause on that automatic reaction, so you can make a better, more deliberate choice.
And this is so important, it's a total game changer for your mindset. The most disciplined people out there aren't superheroes with infinite willpower. Not at all. They're actually more like architects. They design their lives and their environments to avoid having to fight those battles in the first place.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. What does this civil war actually look like inside your brain? Well, from a neuroscience standpoint, it's a real biological showdown between two key areas.
You can basically think of it like this. You've got the planner up in your prefrontal cortex. This is the CEO, the part that thinks about long-term goals and consequences. But it's in a constant fight with the impulsive part, down in your ventral striatum, which only cares about one thing: immediate rewards.
Now here's the catch. Your planner, that rational, forward-thinking CEO, is surprisingly fragile. When you're stressed out, tired, not sleeping well, or eating junk, its power fades. And that's when your impulsive side takes over and wins easily.
Which leads us to a really powerful conclusion. Taking care of your body, getting enough sleep, eating well, managing stress, it's not a reward you get for being disciplined. It's the absolute non-negotiable starting line. Without that biological stability, your planner doesn't even have a fighting chance.
Okay, now we're getting to the biggest, most important idea we're going to talk about today. We're about to tear down a belief about willpower that has dominated our thinking for decades, a belief that is now falling apart under new scientific research. For as long as I can remember, the main theory was something called ego depletion, and the idea was simple. Your willpower is like a muscle, or maybe a gas tank. Every time you use it, you use up a little bit, and eventually you just run out. You're depleted. I mean, it feels true, right? We've all had those days where we just feel completely drained of willpower. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? What if the feeling is real, but our explanation for it is way off?
So here's what happened. In psychology, this is a massive deal. When other scientists tried to repeat those original ego depletion experiments, but with much larger groups of people, they couldn't get the same results. The effect vanished. This replication crisis has forced everyone to rethink what's really going on.
And that brings us to a whole new way of looking at it. Instead of the old strength model, we now have the process model. The big shift is this: willpower isn't the fuel in the tank, it's the fuel gauge. That feeling of being depleted isn't a sign that you're empty, it's an emotion, a signal from your brain that your motivation is low and you're reluctant to keep going.
So, if willpower isn't a tank you have to worry about running dry, well, that changes the entire game.
It means we need a totally new operating system, a new way to approach discipline altogether.
This is where a fascinating idea called illusory fatigue comes in. It's the difference between how tired you feel and how tired you actually are physiologically. And get this, studies show that if you simply believe your willpower is limited, you will perform as if it is. Your mindset literally creates your limits.
So here's the new playbook. Forget about hoarding your energy. Instead, do these 3 things. 1. Manage your motivation. Find a stronger reason why you're doing something. 2. Lower the effort. Make the good habits so easy to start that you don't need a huge burst of will. And 3, most importantly, change your beliefs. When you feel drained, see it for what it is, a signal that your motivation is dipping, not a stop sign.
So I want to leave you with this thought. If that feeling of being out of willpower, of being completely depleted, is just an illusion, if it's just a signal to manage instead of a hard limit, then what are you actually capable of?